All right, so I woke up this morning and I checked my email, and right at the top of my email app, there's a mail from Ableton. And what I had in there, or what they had put in there, is an advertisement for a new product they're calling the Ableton Move. Right away, I kind of got a sense of what it might be, so I wanted to check it out in here. I want to kind of just go over the video and react to what I see in there and share it with you and let you know kind of like what my thoughts are on the new device. So let's get started with the video here and see what they got.
Let's talk about Move, Ableton's new portable tool for fast, intuitive music making. It's compact and completely standalone, powered by a modern ARM processor. It has a built-in battery that gives you up to 4 hours of music making on the go per charge.
So right off the bat, I like the fact that it's standalone. It's got a battery built in. Seems to have like the same kind of life that you get out of the circuit tracks or the circuit rhythm. In fact, with that, if you looked at that little 4x8 grid layout, that seemed very familiar. We've seen that on the circuit tracks and circuit rhythm. Obviously, it's related to the Push 2 or even Push 3, right? Because Push 3 has that standalone version of itself. Although, at $2,000, I wasn't ready to buy in on it. So we'll see what this one costs by the time we get done with it. But let's check out some more of these features here on the unit.
It has built-in speakers and a microphone for playback and recording.
And right there we have a difference between it and, say, like the Novation circuit tracks and circuit rhythm, because there's a built-in speaker and a built-in microphone, neither of which you have on either of those units. And so that's going to be a bit of an improvement, or at least a difference between the units.
Just pick it up like an instrument and simply create wherever you are in the moment. Move features a stereo audio output designed to connect a pair of headphones, a mixer, or powered speakers. There are also 2 USB ports, a USB-C port for charging and connecting to the computer, and a USB-A port for connecting MIDI devices.
And right there too is another good difference is the ability to connect external MIDI devices. Obviously, again, the circuit tracks and circuit rhythms have their MIDI DIN outputs, but this actually acts as, I think, as a USB host. So it works with any kind of class compliant devices.
Move is built around 4 flexible MIDI tracks, which could be a drum kit, sampler, or instrument. When you load a new set, the tracks already come preloaded with a matching collection of presets from the sound library.
So there's another contrast with the circuit units. I'm primarily going on the circuit units because those are the ones you use. I don't use the the MPC one that I've seen some people talk about, and I don't have a Push 3. So I'm going to compare these primarily to the Novation circuit units. And they offer 8 tracks, but this one only has 4. However, when we say 8 tracks, say like on the circuit tracks, you get like 2 polyphonic tracks for a non-device synthesizer, and then 2 MIDI tracks that can control an external device. So you only get 2 synthesizers on board, and this gives you up to 4. Then you get the drums where you do these sample flips. But if this is like if this is the Ableton drum plugin basically that comes in Ableton, that means that you can play multiple drums off of just one instance of the drummer rather than having to kind of flip samples around like you would, and with only one sample at a time inside the circuit tracks or even the circuit rhythms because that's how they treat their samples on their units. So somewhat limited maybe at first glance, but maybe not as limited when you consider the potential power there might be within the unit.
And get started right away. Move comes with over 1,500 samples, presets, and drum kits, including Ableton instruments and effects such as Drift, Wavetable, and Live's new drum sampler. Not to mention delays, choruses, and distortions to crop.
Right, so it comes with effects. So do the other units, but this one gives you probably more options, it looks like, with the screen. And I'm imagining those knobs up top are going to have something to say about that too, and what you can do to modify, maybe not. But it comes with the synthesis and the sampling, so that's kind of a good thing. So it acts both like a circuit tracks and a circuit rhythm with both synthesis and sampling. That screen's going to be interesting because one of the beauties I think about working with the circuit units is that they give you a lot of feedback via the pads. This is going to be more reliant on its OLED screen or whatever it's got going on over here, which you can see what you're bringing up by name, which gives you more information on what you're doing. Maybe less adventurous than the circuit tracks are because you don't exactly see what you're calling up. You're just doing it by sound, by ear. So there's another distinction between the units.
Your sound. The Move core library has been carefully curated by the Ableton sound team and selected sound designers that are all pre-mapped to to the 8 encoders for instant tweaking of sound parameters and to give you a punchy, impactful sound at your fingertips.
So it looks like I was right that those controllers are going to kind of give you parameters, I think even on maybe the effects and stuff too, which you don't get on Circuit Tracks or Circuit Rhythm.
Also 64 gigabytes of internal storage, so there's plenty of space for your own samples. Move comes with Capture that allows you to capture your playing well before you want to record an idea.
So two things they just said there. One is that it has 64 gigabytes on internal memory, and I didn't see anything there for an SD card slot, so you're just relying on the internal memory. Not a great option. I'm assuming you can probably offload it to Ableton via the USB output on the back. Maybe some other way to do it. But yeah, it looks like you're stuck with just whatever kind of internal memory it has. So that's not great in my book, but 64 gigabytes isn't nothing. The other thing that they were showing there was that they have the capture function. So that can be a cool thing. I mean, that's something akin to what you get like on an SP4 or 4 or something like that, where it's kind of recording your information. You just kind of print it down to a track. Of course, this capture is going to be MIDI rather than audio, but that means that you could probably print or lay down an idea straight to a clip once you realize like, oh, I had something great going on there, but I wasn't ready to hit record yet, but I really want that. So that's a good feature too.
Even capture the automation of any device parameter you tweak while being in the flow. The 32 pads on Move allow you to play your drum patterns and melodies easily. The pads also feature Aftertouch, which allows you to adjust parameters of an instrument using pressure.
And that aftertouch is like closer, like an MPE kind of a feature. It gives you more expression. Although they didn't say whether it was polyphonic or monophonic, so I'd have to look that up in the specs. But aftertouch does give you another depth of expression to what you're playing. So I like that feature. That isn't something that the Circuit Tracks or Circuit Rhythm offers you.
Using the in-key mode or chromatic scale mode for melodies, you can set the key and scale before you get started with a new project. You can play any sample melodically using our 16-pitch layout designed for drums in Move.
Now, that's a cool feature to be able to do chromatic playback of samples. Now, of course, we can do that on the Circuit Rhythm. We get the chromatic playback, but you get it one per track. And if that works per, say, like per pad of the drum kit, then you could have multiple chromatic samples. I don't know. I'd have to, again, check out the specs. I might be hoping for too much here, but that's one possibility. The other thing I like in there is the fact that they have that rotary encoder that they started including with the Push 3. So that gives you a little more flexibility in recalling items on the push, or in this case, on the Move.
Capability transforms Move into a powerful instrument, allowing you to play individual samples melodically. It is especially effective for creating deep bass lines or pitch melodies fast. The step sequencer is a fun and easy way to use the dedicated 16 steps underneath the pads to create patterns and melodies. Add your ideas quickly and specifically into your patterns. You can even tweak parameters or velocity per step or nudge them slightly off the grid for a more humanized feel and groove. Session mode allows you to...
So right there, the step sequencer is good. We have that on the circuit units too. What they didn't say is available or indicate whether or not it was available on here is probability. I know that you can do that inside Ableton. The question is, can you do it on the Move? I mean, probability is something I like playing with when I'm doing my sequences. It gives me a lot of variation when I play back the loops.
With musical ideas we call clips. Each row of the 8 pads corresponds to all of the clip slots within a single track. You can manage 2 effects across an entire set using the 8 encoders.
Now, I don't know what the case is here in terms of recalling the clips, but you saw the individual in the video like sliding their finger across the clips or the lines, which by the way goes opposite of, the tracks go opposite of the layout on the Circuit Rhythm and Circuit Tracks. The Circuit Rhythm tracks are vertical. This is going horizontal. And then your scenes, right, from Ableton you'd have these scenes. Your scenes are going vertical in this case. But it looked like there was no scene recall button, or like how do you recall like maybe various groupings of clips into a scene, which is something you can do in the mix view on both the Circuit Tracks and Circuit Rhythm. So it'd be interesting to see if they have some way to do that on the Move.
Allows you to directly record sounds into the sampler, offering flexibility in how you capture audio. You can record using the built-in microphone for on-the-go sampling, or connect external devices via the line input. You can even resample audio from the main output to create new variations from existing sounds.
So that's great that it has the mic. That's something we don't have on these other units. the inputs, they didn't say whether they were mono or stereo. So if it's mono, I think that's a bit of a trade-off. If it's stereo, that's great. That's kind of on par. They also said you could resample the internal, which almost gives you like the ability to bounce. Maybe you can even recut. I don't know if I don't know if they have any like slicing of samples in the simple sampler playback. I'm maybe guessing not. So, but we'll see.
Exporting the set as a WAV or MP3 file is just a few clicks away. You can export audio using the Move Manager, and you can save your track as a WAV or MP3 file, ready to share or edit further.
So right there, that's something I would identify with like the SP404, where you can just kind of, internally resample and then send it out, and you have a sample or just a stereo file of your performance. And that can be a good thing. Again, that's not something that you get with a Circuit Tracks or Circuit Rhythm. You need to use an external unit, like I use the Tascam X8, and I just kind of chain along, and then at the final unit, I just record a stereo output into the Tascam X8. This can do everything internally and produce the file you need, and then stores it in its internal area here.
Move is designed to be a versatile team player, seamlessly integrating into your audio setup. Whether you're using it as a standalone device or as a controller for Ableton Live, Move adapts easily to your workflow. You can bring your set into Ableton Live via Ableton Cloud. Once loaded in Live, you gain access to every single detail of your sound, including your MIDI sequences and all instrument and effect parameters. When using Live...
Okay, there's kind of two things to comment on here. One is the fact that you move it via a cloud, so I guess maybe it's got some kind of built-in Wi-Fi or something like that, and it uploads to the cloud, and then you can download onto your laptop or unit that you're going to go edit on. I don't know if that's great, and also I don't know if you can also do it through the cable on the back. That would be even better, probably faster and more accurate. But the fact that you can export whatever you do on this unit into Ableton and then expand it out from there is awesome. One of the issues I've had with using the Circuit Tracks and Circuit Rhythms, whatever I do is internal to the unit. I can't really externalize it. I could output the MIDI tracks, but if I'm doing my performances and doing an improvisation on the fly, I can't then take that improvisation as recording and bring it into something else. And because this does all the things that it does, both recording the audio files and even kind of capturing MIDI, I don't know if it can capture the playback. That would be an interesting thing to see. But whatever, at least I have the materials that I can bring out of it and put into Ableton on a laptop or a desktop, and then use to produce an actual releasable track without having to do a lot of workarounds like doing stems in Logic or just using, mastering software to try and polish over the things that I can't finally control because everything was just on the units and all I got was a stereo file from the Circuit Tracks or the Circuit Rhythm.
Easily switch Move into Control Live mode, allowing you to play and sequence sounds, launch clips, and tweak parameters with ease. Link is a powerful feature that helps you stay in sync with other music tools such as mobile apps, digital audio workstations, or even some hardware devices.
Okay, this information comes fast and hard. So two things they said there is that you can use it as a push controller, basically, as a sort of push controller. So it also has live control mode, and that's good. And which means you have like a smaller, more portable version of the push. And then the other thing they said that it works with Link for syncing, in which, so many things do nowadays. So that's a good thing. And again, if it has that Wi-Fi or Bluetooth or something like that, it can probably do Link over the air, which is also good. And they said that the Circuit Tracks just doesn't have that kind of link. I mean, you have to do everything via like MIDI clock information, that sort of thing.
Connect any class-compliant USB MIDI device to Move, which opens up a range of possibilities for your music making.
And there, for example, I love using my SH4D, and you got these 4 MIDI channels on the Move that can control the elements of the SH4D. It's kind of like using the 4 channels, like the 2 synth channels and the 2 MIDI channels on a Circuit Tracks to control the SH4D. The SH4D has beautiful synth sounds, knob per function, very easy to access. If you combine that with the sequencing power of this Move, it might be an enhancement even over the Novation Circuit Tracks. And you would just you could do that simply with using a USB cable rather than having to do like a USB MIDI interface or, USB to MIDI or the MIDI DINs. So that's very interesting.
Finally, you can control your favorite synthesizer with Move's incredible pads. Move comes with built-in Wi-Fi and a dedicated web interface. The Move Manager provides a convenient way for you to organize and manage your content from a computer or mobile device. You can download or rename your sets and even upload your own sample collections, enabling you to customize your Move experience to suit your creative style. In standalone mode, Move supports audio output to your computer. You can select Move as the audio input, allowing you to record its main audio directly into Ableton Live. And if that's not all, Move also comes with a free Melodics course, offering 50 lessons, including pad and finger drumming practice designed especially for your Ableton Move.
So that looks like it's it. So yeah, that's a very interesting unit. Now, if I go over here, let me go back to the window here. Let's see, I have it up on here, and you get a closer look at it. And right there, it's US $449. So $449. I mean, that puts it right in the range, or maybe even a little bit cheaper in some cases, about the range of like one of the circuit units. So that's really interesting. Half the price of the Push, or, you know, 1/4 of the price of a Push 3. So that's a great price. I'm kind of excited about the unit. I might check it out. I might get one and then kind of compare it to the other units or something like that if I got an opportunity to do that. But thank you for watching my first kind of reaction video. And I want to know what you think. I mean, what do you find things interesting in this unit? Do you find it kind of lacking in a certain way? Are you thinking about getting one? Do you think it would complement what you have on your desk or in your studio already? Go ahead and let me know in the comment. And if you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. See you in the next video.